The Spring Carnival of Greyhound Racing is about to launch, and I tell you what, here on the Green Light On Racing and Sport podcast, we are pumped to head to the country. The Bendigo Cup series coming up this week. The heats are on this Sunday over the weekend. The final next Friday night. It's going to be a ripping couple of days of racing up at Bendigo, and I can't believe we're ripping into the Spring Carnival with arguably the best provincial sprint cup. I'm James Vandermaat, your host of the Green Light On Racing and Sport podcast, and I'm not going to muck around. It's a big show. We're going to chat everything Bendigo Cup. We're going to find out who the number one seed is going into this year's Bendigo Cup series. Race by race preview of the heats. We're going to try and find some winners and some losers. It's always nice to lay a dog that gets beat as well. And we'll wrap that up and get to know why we should be going to Bendigo this Friday for the Cup. But straight off the top, we're going to welcome the big boss, the head honcho, the big doggedy dog of the Bendigo Greyhound Racing Club, Charlton Hindle, who's on the line ready for a chat. Charles, big week for you, mate. You must be excited.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, James. Best week of the year for us here. 7 ripper heats again this year, which will lead into the Cup on the Friday night. And we couldn't be more excited or more happy with the heats.
Well, mate, I'm excited because this is just the launch to what is going to be a huge 3 months on the Green Light On Racing and Sport podcast. We've got obviously Bendigo kicking off. We're doing a 2-episode mini-series, so we'll take a look at the heats on this edition. Next week will be the final, and we might even go race by race next week. It's always nice to back a couple of winners on Bendigo Cup night. I think we're heading towards Cranbourne Cup in a few weeks as well, then everything Melbourne Cup, and there's a big chance in the pipeline that we will be doing a bit of a Phoenix lead-in as well. So stick around on the podcast, but off the top, mate, I just wanted to discuss this race, the Bendigo Cup, because there's something about it, and I think it might be the distance. The track's awesome. Everybody who's involved from a training perspective loves the Bendigo track, but there's something about the Cup always being an elite lineup through the heats into the final, and I think it's the 425 distance because you've got your 500 stars explicit who drop back and have a crack. And from the same kennel, you've got a greyhound like Tarawai Therese, who's got electric speed, genuine at this stage 400-metre sprinter. She won the Hillsville Cup, and she steps up to the 425. So you always get that perfect mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really attractive at the 425-metre start is that long straight into the first bend as well. So it suits dogs with early speed. But if you're thereabouts, going into that first bend, you can be strong late as well with the long straight going into the finish line. So it's definitely ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of dogs.
Well, mate, you would have been flat out. I can see the whiteboard behind you. There's plenty of marks on that. You'd be building up for this Bendigo Cup for months, wouldn't you, as a club? Yeah,
absolutely. We start planning in the autumn time what we're going to do activation-wise and how we can keep improving it every year. So it's good to see it all come to fruition the pointy end, which is great.
Big race preview. Well, straight into the big race preview segment on this edition of the podcast, and I reckon we do something a little bit different. Off the top, I want to try and work out who the number one seed is. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be the best performed greyhound going in, but it might be a greyhound that you like for whatever reason that you think could suit this series. Now, I'm going to be plain Jane. I'm going to be as boring as batshit, to be honest, Charles. And for me, I'm going explicit as the number one seed.
Hard to argue.
Well, he's only won 2.1 mil. He's an elite greyhound. And look, I'll probably delve through the history books a little bit just to have a look at the one start he's had at Bendigo, 28th of March this year. He jumped from box number 1. He just roars straight to the front. He dominates that race. He was at that stage of coming back from retirement as well. So
it was his first run back from retirement, that was.
That's right. And you could probably argue that he's going better now than he was then. Obviously, the intention is Bendigo Cup into a Melbourne Cup into a Phoenix would be, and maybe a Top Gun as well. So he could have a massive 3 or 4 months. He's drawn box number 1 in his heat. So I think going into this year's Bendigo Cup, he is the number one seed, although the price, sickening. $1.08 or something they're betting on him to win a heat. And it's a good heat.
I see that. I won't be touching $1.08, but he's just worth coming to watch, isn't he? Arguably the best dog in the land. So, hopefully he draws a bit of interest around Bendigo and people come out and watch him. Which is what we want.
That's a credit to the club too. You know, to have a racetrack that Jason Thompson, with arguably the best dog in the country, wants to have a crack at their country cup. It's to him the prize money, I reckon's nothing to what this greyhound's been able to do. But I think to add a Bendigo Cup, one of the great sprint cups, to his CV, as a stud dog, that's enormous.
Yeah, and as you said, reeled off 3 or 4 big races in the future, that there's probably targets. So this will be perfect lead up into that and get him nice and fit and ready for those.
All right, mate. Well, let's go through these heat by heat. I actually did the form paper version this afternoon, so I've been pretty busy. And then, we're old school here on the Green Light On podcast. The funny thing is, my little fella, he's 5 years old, just had his birthday, and he draws on everything at the moment. So I found my form guides had been graffitied. And they were thrown in the bin. So I had to grab them out of the bin before we went to air. But, hey, that's the joys of being a dad, I suppose. But race 4 is the first heat, Sunday night racing. So if you're looking Friday night, obviously that's not where the Cup heats will be. I like that too, Sunday into Friday, shorter backup. I think the sprinters will relish on those backups. Race 4, it's an interesting race. Dr. United's the red, Irish Nicky in 2, Kernai Bolt 3, Aston Renminbi 4, Giacomo's in 6, Mile a Minute, the straight track Megastars drawn 7. He only needs $340 or something, and he cracks the 200,000 in prize money. And Paparizzi, who's been in great winning form, draws box number 8. Now, it's maybe not overall, Charlton, the strongest heat, but it's, I reckon, nearly the most pace-injected heat. There's going to be burning from the get-go, and I reckon I've picked the dog who could just go on a bit of a rampage in Country Cups, and that's Aston Renminbi. I just love this electric box speed. Just comes out like he's been shot out of a cannon. I reckon he can lead in a race that there's a heap of speed. You've got Dr. United in red who pushes off. If there's a bit of crowding and that 4 blue rug can just shoot to the front, I think he can win.
Yeah, I had him circled as well. Young up-and-coming dog. What's he had? 7 starts for 6 wins in a second.
It's a baby.
They've got a fair opinion of him, and not much pace below him either. So we should be able to cross that. I see a bit of money's come for the 3, that Kernai Bolt. So it'll run a good race. So if you can cross that, and then those two battle out around the corner, and then obviously you got Mile a Minute who's drawn wide, which suits him somewhat. What's he had? 5 wins from box 7, so that won't faze him. And yeah, he'll be strong late.
He's a weapon, isn't he? Who are you leaning to?
I've gone the 4 as well, the young new kid on the block.
Aston Renminbi. He's a price too. They're betting about $5.50 at the moment. I reckon he might even nudge out a little bit. So we're agreeing on race 4. You know what they say, great minds think alike. Race number 5, heat 2 of the Bendigo Cup. Just onto that first heat. The favourite is Mile a Minute, by the way, at this stage. We're recording Friday evening, so about 48 hours from the race. Race number 5, which is heat number 2, Dr. Asher in box 1's the favourite, around that 2:05 mark. Spicy La Vida 2, Kenya Ultimate 3, Lamia Weeze 4, it's Mikado Time, box number 6, Fluent Action draws 7, Cookie Man out in box number 8 for Dave Gill. Now, I don't know if he's going to get the right run in this race, Dr. Asher, but I just love this dog. I reckon his stats, they're starting to read, I think, true to what the greyhound that he is. It doesn't really make sense what I'm saying, but 77 starts, 33 wins. I've thought this boy is a genuine top liner for a long time. He went to Queensland when the Whelans looked after him to have a crack at their big carnival. He was supremely unlucky not to come away with a group race up there. I'm just not sure box number 1, where there is so much speed and maybe a bit of a favourite of yours drawn out in box number 6, if it's going to suit him. But he nearly broke his track record at Sale last start, got within half a length. He'd had a really busy campaign too, up until that sort of 2-week layoff before last start. So I reckon they've done that on purpose. They've freshened him up, and he might go bang from box number 1. What do you think?
Yeah, well, doing the form, I actually had that time circled to run 23.89 over the 4:35 at Sale. And he said his track record's 23.85, so he's pretty much equaled his track record there last start. So he's coming into this in red-hot form, drawn the red, which, it will be helpful. But, yeah, he's ticking all the boxes, loves the distance, similar distance to what the Cup is. So, yeah, he'll be very hard to beat.
Now, it's Mikado Time, Charles. I know you're a big fan of this boy, and we were chatting off air about who our number 1 seed might be, and you sort of said that this boy, he's done some special things at Bendigo, and there are a couple of replays you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, he's a bit of a personal favourite of mine, as you just touched on, because he won the Gold Rush Maiden here from box 8. He drew wide, and I think the team, Paul Jones, could not have been happier when that box draw came out. They like him out wide. So I think box 6 will suit him. And then he went on and won the Prospector here, which is our listed race. So he's won 2 of our feature races already, and he drew box 1 that night, and I was a little bit questioning that, and then he ran 23.60 straight to the front from go to woe. So 4 from 4 track and distance, likes it wide. He'll run 23.60. You'll put up a good fight, that's for sure.
I know you love your stats around the Bendigo track, and you're a bit of a local bias man. Was it Alpha Zulu who did the Gold Rush Bendigo Cup double a couple of years ago?
Yeah, he did. 2 years ago, he won the Gold Rush Maiden and went in to win the Bendigo Cup, and went on to do a lot of good things post that as well.
He did. Can any dog possibly, or have they, been able to win all 3? Gold Rush, Prospector, Bendigo Cup.
This will be the first. This will be the first.
You can hear the excitement.
Might be statue worthy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that's it. Well, Flemington's got Bart coming, so Bendigo should have its Mikado time. Race number 6. Here's the champ. He's drawn box number 1 explicit. I'd like the bookmakers to grow some cojones, to be honest, and send him out at a bit more than $1.08. Look, he's drawn a race where he should just win. He's got the red 108. They're betting at the moment. Dr. Dylan 34, Paul Zabia 34. I'm Fabulous, an outsider. Then you've got Dusty McGraw, Dash of Whiskey, Aston Fantastic. Now, I think the key for explicit is he just doesn't have to get touched early, and if he doesn't get contact in the first 4 or 5 strides, he's just the quickest dog in the country. So with Dr. Dylan being a slow beginner, Paul Zabia, I don't think, desperate for the inside. Her stats suggest she's more than happy to win out wide. How do you beat him? And I think it's great that he's there, and I think it's great that he'll advance into the Bendigo Cup. He'll be a draw card. There'll be people that go to Bendigo on Cup night just to see this boy in the flesh, especially knowing he was retired. And I think a lot of punters thought, gee, we missed out on seeing one of the superstars of the sport. Now here's a chance to go and see him if you're from Bendigo.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you touched on at the start of the show, $2 million in prize money as well, which is, unfathomable, is it? So, the fact that Jason's brought him up here, we're very excited. And as you said, he shouldn't get touched. He should live from go to woe. But, also the box 8, he's no mug either, old Aston Fantastic. He was favourite in last year's race. I don't think he's going as well as he was last year, but he goes very well around the track as well. He's just bumped into probably the quickest dog in the land.
Fair call. He's lost a couple of finals to Aston Fantastic. I reckon he was favourite for the Hillsville Cup last year, and it all got a bit too much and he missed the kick, but he's a jet. No doubt about that. On to race number 7, which is the 4th heat of the Bendigo Cup. Number 1, Sweet Love. 2 is Burn Along. 3, Slick Splits. Another greyhound that I reckon is awesome to have going to Bendigo. He's never raced there before, so a little bit of a question mark. Dr. Reese, an outsider. Represent will be an outsider. Intrepidus, who's got the St. Ledger Warrigal form, $2.70, and Lady Julia for Danny Gibbons around the $8.50. Favourite Slick Splits. I don't really know what to make of him. Do you have any insight on whether or not he's been to Bendigo or?
No insight. My question is we'll drop him back to 425. As we touched on at the start of the show, it can suit some dogs, but his form's been over longer and it does take a while to get going. So that'd be my question, and I won't be touching him in that short, but we're very grateful to have a dog of his calibre come in as well, like maturity winner in the Group 1. So, he's going to be a star, that's for sure.
Yeah, and although he hits that sort of 504, 505 at the Meadows, he sort of jumps and then he accelerates after a couple of strides, and that's probably the risk, I think, coming to a 425, that there might be a bit more heat. There will be for sure, because Burn Along's a good beginner. In box 2, might veer up into Slick Splits early. Sweet Love can't win the race, I don't think, but she could probably lead the race from box number 1. And the greyhound that I'm going to tip is Intrepidus, number 7 for Robert Pilotta. The last 2 starts, when you go around Warrigal and can run the sections that he has and then run the overall time 25.60s, that tells me he's ready to compete in country cups. If he can burn across from box number 7, bit of a jam up maybe on the inside between the 1, 2 and 3, and I can just see Intrepidus off and gone with the money. Are you in agreement? Can we get another one home here?
I completely agree. I've got him circled as my top tip here. Prospector form as well, so he's seen the track. And he's 2 from 3, just got beaten by, obviously, it's Mikado time in that final. So, I completely agree with what you said. He'll be definitely tough to beat.
Slick Splits, $2.10. I'm starting to think he might be our favourite lay of the meeting there. $2.10 roughly they're betting at the moment. Might ease out on race night. Race number 8, heat 5. 7 heats of the Bendigo Cup on Sunday. Dr. Farah, box 1. Shorty Boy, box number 2. Paul Waverley's in 3. Just noticing early there's a little bit of money there, 18 into 16. Sharapova Stars, 175 and favourite. Ziva Bale looks so outclassed it is not funny. Jetstream Icon maybe getting a little bit old in the tooth, and Mapunga Tally's fresh off a spell. She did perform as satisfactory at Geelong, went 25.74, and arguably her form prior to a break was heading toward being in the top 5 in the country. So it's great to have her resuming here in a Bendigo Cup heat. How do you see this one playing out, mate? Sharapova Star's probably going to run the odds on Jolly.
Yeah, $1.70. Like, she's been here plenty of times. So she's had 5 starts here, runs slick time. But in the cup heat, she should clear them. She will be hard to beat, but I'll probably be looking elsewhere as well. I'm very excited about Mapunga Tully, obviously, to have a dog of that calibre. The fact that she's come here first up as well after a bit of a spell, and watching that footage of that satisfactory trial, she's ready to go. And I've also got circled here Jetstream Icon. Now, he races here a lot. He runs some very quick times. I reckon he's run a 23.50 here not that long ago, and then following week he ran a 24.10. So if he's on his day and he's thereabouts at the corner, he'll be strong late. So I would not dismiss him at all.
I reckon the best is pass with Jetstream Icon, and I reckon you've got your local footballers Guernsey on, and you're cheering for the locals, Marion Sullivan from up the road.
Yeah, he bumped into Hotel Whiskey 1 a couple of weeks ago and gave him a good battle up the straight. He ran second to him at 23.60. So on his night he can be good, but yeah, he'd be it just depends if it's his night.
Yeah, the draw suits him, I think, out there in 7. Look, I think there's a 2-pronged play in this race. I think Sharapova Star, if she can spear the start like she can probably lead all of the way. I'm just going to have a very small little each-way play on number 3, Paul Waverley. I went back through her form, and her first 2 starts were at Bendigo to kickstart her career. She got beat in both of them, but I think she broke 24 in at least one, maybe both of them. 23.83 in defeat was her PB. Last start at Sandown, she went 4.99 to the first peg, which is electrifying speed. That's as quick as Sharapova Star goes. So if she hits the start and she can hold out Sharapova Star's probably then going to get in the way of a few of these back markers, and maybe Paul Waverley sneaks home at $16. So definitely worth something small each way. On to race number 9. This is probably, without being disrespectful, one of the weaker heats. Dr. Queenie in 1, Galento 2, Fortune Hunter into box 3. Sweet Valentine, who's a rocket beginner at $7.50. Talcott Bale $6. Corinthians drawn 7, $14. And Bless Rain, a greyhound that I've just got a massive opinion of, for Brett Mackey at $1.95. I think it's about the right price. She's won 18 of 36, Charles. That's a 50% winning strike rate. She's had 1 start at Bendigo, and when she won up there, it was a while ago, but she beat some big names, did it the hard way. Her form at Warragul, she is absolutely flying at the moment, so I'm really confident she'll be crossing, leading and winning.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue with that. I've got her circled. I was like, be very hard to beat, but I'm taking it on. One that's caught my eye is Talcott Bale. Loves the track. Danny Gibbons brings him up here a fair bit, so I think he'll run well. Obviously, Bless Rain's going to be very tough to beat, but one at a little bit of odds. I think at the moment, Talcott Bale's at $6. So, obviously, Bless Rain will be hard to beat, but that'll be my little roughy tip for that race.
I like it. Speaking of the greyhounds that you like, Hotel Whiskey 1, you've mentioned him already, goes around in the final heat, which is race number 10, heat 7 at 9 o'clock on the dot. Drawn box 1, Hotel Whiskey 1, he's $2.25. Special Lad, $35. Elite Intentions, a roughie. Mavrico's a roughie in 4. Ram Raid's come up with box 6. Paul Gertrude 7. And Tarawai Therese, who's won 6 on the bounce, if my maths serves me correctly. She's won a Hillsville Cup. She is arguably the quickest beginning dog in the country right now, and she's the $2.10 favourite in box 8. Arguably the quickest, because there would be people out there. The owner of Hotel Whiskey 1 would be more than content, I think, to argue this, that he could be the quickest beginner in the country when he gets it right. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, he was good here in last year's Cup as well. Hotel Whiskey One. I think he jumped as second favourite behind Aston Fantastic. And as a party, he really wants this Bendigo Cup as well. So I think this is his number one seed to do it. Drawn perfectly. If he hits the kick, and he shouldn't get much pressure from 2, 3, and 4. So he should clear them, and then it'll just be pretty much a match race, I reckon, between Hotel Whiskey One and Tarawee. Sorry, you might have to help me here.
Tarawee Therese, I reckon we go with. Yeah. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, I reckon. I reckon those two will. Should be a good little match race heading into the straight. I'm envisioning.
Yeah,
I reckon.
I'm starting to think. I'm with Tarawee Therese. I'm starting to think this is a bit of winks about this dog. She's for greyhounds to have 19 starts for 15 wins. There's no jockey to steer them out of trouble. That's an extraordinary strike rate. And 2 starts ago at Warragul, I reckon fair dinkum, she took the piss. 8.02 to the first peg. That is just mad early speed. Hotel Whiskey One when he won at Warragul 4 starts ago off the pink, came out like a weapon, and he went 8.12, which is nearly 2 lengths behind what Tarawee Therese did. So I'm only going off the most recent form. I think overall, if Hotel Whiskey One can muster through, he can probably beat her, maybe a bit more mid-race and a little bit more in the run home. But if Tarawee Therese can cross and get 3 or 4 lengths in front, she might be off with the money. So I like what Anthony Azzopardi's done with Hotel Whiskey 1-2. Had a crack at that Megastar, the final Megastar at Dapto. Being a bit of a local around that area too, obviously being a Sydney boy originally, obviously it was a special race for him. And I like the fact that after that 500-metre run, he got very tired in the heat but still won. He found trouble in the final, but he's given him a month to freshen up for a Bendigo Cup. So I think if you're going to back a trainer in to have them cherry ripe with that type of campaign, it's Anthony Azzopardi with Hotel Whiskey 1.
Yeah, we'd love to see him in the final again. And obviously, I reckon these two could be the winner and the quickest second. So that's what I'm predicting. These two both progress into the final.
Well, on the back of going race by race, we've got the all-in market we can have a quick look at through some of the bookmakers. Explicit is clearly the race favourite. No surprise there. $2.70 to win the final. Now, you could argue that's not bad value because he's $1.08 to win his heat. If he wins his heat, he runs time, he draws a decent box next week, he'll probably be an even money favourite. So I think the 270 is a pretty fair bet with him. Second elect Sharapova Star, then down to Hotel Whiskey 1, Tarawee Therese, Slick Splits, Bless Rain, Dr. Asher, and the list goes on. I'm going to have something small on an absolute roughie that I've tipped in the first race, and that's Aston Renminbi. It's about 40 or 50 to 1, depending on where you're placing your bets. Gamble responsibly, of course. But if he comes out, makes a huge statement with lightning speed, he could firm up dramatically if he makes the final and then he draws in the final. If he delivers what we maybe hope he can in a heat.
Yeah, and it all comes down to that important box draw for the final, as we all know. But at 41 and $11 to place in the early markets, wouldn't talk you out of that. And then obviously my boy as well, it's Mikado time. He's paying decent odds too. He's 26 at the moment and $7.50 at the place. So if those two can sneak in, I wouldn't talk you out of those ones as some roughies, that's for sure.
Well, I like that. We're going with It's Mikado time. Aston Renminbi as a couple of roughies. And do you agree Explicit's the dog to beat?
Yeah, I can't argue with that, can you? He's drawn to qualify for the final, and he'll run the time to back that up as well. And if he draws half good in the final and gets half an ounce of luck, he'll be very hard to beat. So yeah, that $2.70 quote at the moment, as you touched on, is very attractive because if he draws half decent in that final, as you said, he'll be even money favourite going into the final.
Well, mate, the countdown is on to the Bendigo Cup Heat Sunday. It's going to be just an absolute blessing, I think, to have a greyhound like Explicit just dominating the sand of Lord's Raceway there at Junatown. And if you're a local or you live 30 k's away, get down there on Sunday night to see something pretty special indeed. We'll be back next week, Charlton, to do the Cup podcast, which we might get done either Monday or Tuesday, so it will be out a little bit earlier in the week. Look forward to chatting to you on Monday, mate, and I can't wait to see how these heats play out on Sunday night.
Thanks heaps, James. And we're very excited and very happy with the talent that we have got here in Bendigo for Sunday night.
It's going to be an awesome series. It kicks off this Sunday, Lord's Raceway at Bendigo for the heats of the Bendigo Cup. Don't go anywhere. The Green Light On podcast will be back early next week. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.